Elizabeth Bishop scholars tour Great Village. Bleeding heart, buttercups, and big red-orange poppies with black hirsute centers. Sylvia Plath would see them as hairy tarantulas sizzling on hell flame. So would Jonathan Edwards. What would you see, Elizabeth? Something more subtle? The forget-me-nots tucked in a corner, like tiny blue buttons on baby clothes. Wild roses lapping the breeze, or the lupin tangled in weeds but still standing tall. We all speak your language, so of course we say to each other, lupin-like apostles, one of your images that startles because you so rarely permit yourself such grandiloquence. And we all see it, the strange aptness. Yes, lupins line the village roadways, tall prophetic silences, like the pencil-thin apostles on Chart, especially at evening, gathering crystals from the fog. Apostles, you are so much more the stoneworker, Giselbertus, folk artish donkeys chiseled in small, unexpected places on the cathedral. Your village is much the same, Elizabeth. It lasted longer than you hoped, well past your abidance, but much has softened. The steeple which held your mother's scream now has iron curlicues that look like cartoon eyes of an owl, or the spectacles of Groucho Marx. Our reluctant tour guide, the shy, brilliant fellow from Britain, leads us around quite aimlessly, wondering aloud what we would like to see. Everything is, as you might expect, connected only by and, just as you said, nothing coheres. Your animals do not arrive to gather this family of word buffs into holiness. But we are somehow a family, an odd, dysfunctional one, as we amble along, quoting your poems at salient moments and laughing, as we walk around and around, trying to make our stumbling your whole biography. Sometimes I think that each of us is crying somewhere inside for you, Elizabeth, for all the ways in which you couldn't connect, for all the ways in which happiness failed you, crying for you, with you, because look how your world is still here. The next poem is called Elizabeth Bishop House, Sleeping in the Blue Room, Great Village, Nova Scotia. How can I sleep in this house with your poems replaying in every room? First death in the cold, cold parlor, little cousin Arthur laid out in his pint-sized coffin, lily of the valley limp in his hand, and a sestina in the kitchen where a kettle steamed tears, wilting the child's drawing of a house unhappy and stern, and more poems framed hang where you slept as a child in the tiny room with a slant weather-stained window, poems by other poets who have stayed in this house, making it throb everywhere with meaning too much. A scream lingers in the red room where no one will sleep, the room in which your mother went mad as you at 5 wandered the house, waded through sadness, speechless and animal, smoking the air, but moving if you tried to name it. A slab of light falls from the door. The moon seems to rest on the floor. The house creaks, accentuates silence. Somewhere at last everything sleeps. And by morning, white lilacs nod, pound lightly on the window pane. The great tides of Fundy flow in, drying the wind, bringing the bay water back to its home, whipping and washing the air all clean. When I step downstairs, the house has been scrubbed of meanings. The walls are clean, matte, white, as if the past never happened. Elizabeth, poetry can begin again. Words will tremble like delicate needles near their meaning, true north, never marring the truth with their touch. And then just one more, which is shorter. And this one is about Elizabeth Bishop's mother. Halifax Sanatorium. A long rectangle of sullen red brick with row on row of gaunt little windows. To say it looks out on the harbor would misrepresent. Nor does it face the harbor, but looks always inward, like the minds within. It sits on the harbor, a box of broken jewelry, tarnished and tangled. Unset stones gleam and tremor like eyes unglued, filling with cloud. I might find her there if I went to her room, standing in a box of sunlight from the unblinded window. She wouldn't look over as I entered the room, nor would she see the sun, but her body would be warm, soaking the light, so faultless and unintending, like a field of wildflowers far beyond my touch. In just such a place I would visit my mother, the fields even farther away. It rained, with a yearning beyond my body, like an explosion of thunder.